Howdy, and welcome to another episode of Adult Onset Horsemanship. I'm your host, Daniel Dolphin. Just a little quick recap on what we've got going on for Dolphin Horsemanship this year. If you're not already on our newsletters, I would highly encourage you to go to thebitcourse.com and dolphinhorsemanship.com. Both will be linked in the show notes, and get on those respective newsletters. We will have a new Bit Course Masterclass cohort golf will be starting up in April, so don't miss that opportunity if you really want to learn and understand bits, remove the mystery, and even the chance to become a certified consultant and add that to your already going practice as a trainer or body worker, something like that. On the Dolphin Horsemanship side, we have got more clinics going on this year than I ever would have imagined. In fact, we're going to be out of the country a lot, so we should have clinics in Canada, England, Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, as well as around the U.S. So if you're interested in riding in a clinic with us, please go check out that on the website and stay updated with our newsletter and social media offerings. We've also got a brand new video out just of this past weekend. We're going to start a rider skills series. This will be available for no extra charge to any of our website subscribers, along with the other content on the subscription side of the website, but it is available as a digital download standalone video for anybody that would want to purchase it. This first video is specifically on laying a horse down, a very misunderstood and underappreciated technique. I have personally laid down almost 1,000 horses, so I think I have a little something to say about this topic. So if you're interested on my take of that, how to do it, when you would, when it might not be the best thing to do and all, that's all well explained in the video. So check that stuff out. Now enjoy this upcoming podcast episode. Our guest today has been on my radar for years, and then I had the pleasure to break bread with him at an event we were both presenters at here this past January. Got to meet him face to face and realized just how intelligent and quirky a guy he is. Robert Eversole is known as the Trailmeister. He has written several books. He's working on a fourth one right now. He is really kind of a how-to author, gives you lots of great tips on how to do things, trail riding, packing, building cinches, and now his work is on trailering safety and upkeep of your trailer, electrical system, brakes, how to back it up, all of those things. Very good source of information, smart guy, and pretty funny too. So I hope y'all enjoy this one. All right, Robert Eversole, the Trailmeister. Are you ready for the icebreaker questions of the day?
If I'm not, that's on me. Let's roll.
I will remind you, too, these are for points and prizes, so you do want to be on your A game here, okay?
All right.
If you were a Jedi, what % chance is there that you would misuse the Force?
100.
Okay. A little bit surprising, I'll have to say, but okay. Morning or evening?
Morning.
Right. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No, never.
What are your favorite pizza toppings?
Is this going to be shared with my cardiologist?
Not at all. No.
Meat, and meat.
Yeah. So we'll get into your lentil stuff. I forgot about that. I'm adding that to my list now. If you could have any superpower, which superpower would you choose?
Invisibility.
Okay. That's an interesting one. All right. How many chefs of old do you think were executed because the food taster had an unknown food allergy?
Ooh. 20%.
20%. That sounds fair. Do you carry a knife?
Always. Except for this morning, because it's on top of my desk, so it is not on my person. Darn it.
So, so what kind of knife do you carry? This is a personal thing here. So,
That it is. Around the farm, just a folding, folding lock blade knife. On the trail with ponies, a fixed blade that sticks on my belt.
never know when you might need a good knife. Absolutely.
I refer to my knife as the knot wrench.
I like that. Do you ever think that the spider in the corner of your room thinks of you as her roommate?
No, but I do believe the spider in the room considers the room hers.
Okay. So you're way up north, at least compared to me. Do y'all have as many spiders up there? Is wintertime a problem and all, or
We do
still
have
quiet?
spiders. We don't have like the, spiders with the red bellies like you have, but we have spiders. Um, that's if we had more spiders like where you live, I would never sleep on the ground. I guarantee you that. So,
We have a lot of unpleasant things to worry about when you sleep. No question about that. You feel free to explain this as much as you want because I know you're actually on like your third career here. But what would you have been professionally if not for a horseman?
circus pony, or I'm sorry, circus clown.
Circus clown. All right, I like that. Okay,
If I had
okay.
to do all over again, I'd be a circus clown in a heartbeat. I kind of feel like I am half the time anyway.
I like it. Yep, absolutely. This is going to be a fun one, folks, because Robert is very clever and witty, and the wordplay should be. I'll be disappointed if we don't have some good wordplay repartee here.
All right.
Okay, so for a part-time vegetarian, this one might be awkward for you, but how do you like your steak and what cut?
Ooh, that's an excellent one. And actually fairly easy. The medium rare, so a little bit of pink. Not squirming on the plate still, but not a whole lot out. And then I like a nice T-bone.
Okay, right. I have a lot of food questions if you haven't noticed that.
You're a man after my own heart.
What is the best horse movie?
The best horse movie? Well, that's really patently obvious. The Australian movie,
Man from Snowy River?
Man from Snowy River. Yes,
That's a damn good one. I need to go read. I don't think I've ever watched that with my sons. Now that you say that,
that's
we
kind of
need
a
to take
shame.
care of that.
I'm having to rethink this relationship. Have a good day, sir.
And in the fall, here's a little tidbit. We've got a set of clinics in Australia, and the first one is in the same range of mountains where he does that Snowy
No,
River. Right. Yep. I am.
are you going to be able to like go there like on scene or on set?
I don't
That's
know,
like
but I'm gonna try to make it happen. Yeah, you better believe.
wow. So the your coolness quotient just went up.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. And this will all the whip play that April has been making me learn. Now it'll finally come in handy too. So,
Excellent.
are you decisive or indecisive?
Indecisive until I'm forced to be decisive. Given the opportunity, I will. It's paralysis by analysis for entirely too long.
Okay. And then, so you had a business career for a long time. You have an MBA, is that correct?
That is correct.
And so, did you find it harder to be decisive in that world, or were the numbers, the analytical side of it made it happen, or what?
Numbers and numbers make life easy. I don't have to. There's no qualitative decisions with numbers. It is or it isn't. I like numbers. So made things very easily. But then I'm the kind of guy that eats peanut M&Ms properly, arranged by numbers and color. So it works.
Is there a little OCD in there, Robert?
A little bit.
Just a skosh. Cold showers or cold food forever. Which one would you pick?
Oh, heavens. Cold showers over cold food.
I'm there with you. It's hard to have a cold T-bone, right?
Ex Although, we've done so, but yeah, warm food. Unless we're talking ice cream.
Yeah. How big should a horse or mule be? What's your preference in size there?
13.2.
All right. You want to explain? Because some people might have just gone, what?
You don't have to find a stump or a big rock. Um, they're just tall enough that your feet don't get wet when you go through a puddle. And life is too short to have to find, life is too short to lift boxes and whatnot up high. And again, the whole rock and stump thing. Short is good. And when you encounter gravity, I don't really need that long to repent before I hit the ground.
So, do you have the same answer? Because I think you might be coming at this as much from packing as riding. So, do you have a change in preference there? Like, as a riding horse, it's okay for them to be a little bigger because you don't have to lift something up onto their side, or no, 13.2, 13.2.
13.2, 13.2. My main riding mule, Ruger, he is on the upper end of 14. And I keep telling him that he would be much better if I took a chainsaw to his legs, but he somehow is averse to that. I would much rather ride my main packing mule because she is short. Um, you know, but I have him and he has a name, so I can't get rid of him. He's a family member, whether I like it or not.
All right, so I am weighted with bating breath on this one here. Would you tell us something unexpected about you, folks? This could go in a lot of different directions. So, Robert,
This could go in a
tantalize
lot of
us.
directions. Something unexpected. Um, my first inclination is to go with the poetry thing. I like to read and try my hand at writing poetry. But I just published a book that is effectively poetry, so that's not really that out of the whack. Um, so something unexpected beyond that. Um, Gee golly. I'm going to go with poetry. Even
Okay.
when I was in the Marine Corps, I always carried a book of poetry, generally Robert Frost in the field.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna. So, are you a rereader? Like poetry kind of does lend itself to reading it more than once, maybe more so than
I'll
than
have to. Oh, here you go. Something that most people would not expect. I am a practicing Buddhist.
Okay.
And Buddhism is not a religion, it's more of a practice. You can be a Catholic and practice Buddhism.
Hmm. We'll get into that a little bit later too.
I don't wear the robes though.
Orange is not your color, huh? Yeah.
Not my color. Wearing robes and a cassock, might not really work real well when you're trying to pack a couple mules.
Okay. How long do you dunk a cookie in milk?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say a solid 5 count.
Okay.
Solid
I
five
like it.
count because you don't want it so soft that it's falling apart, but yet you do want that that milk infiltration. So a quick dunk just is not enough.
I'm there with you on that. Yep. Is there a skill or technique with a horse or mule that you have seen in someone else and don't have but wish you did?
Oh heavens. Um, yeah. Feel. I have lousy feel, and to watch Ty Evans is to watch art. Um, but he also has, my equine experience. I could count numbers of equines I worked with on, fingers and toes. His goes my fingers, toes, yours, and probably most of the state of Louisiana's. But to have that feel would be amazing. I never will, but gee golly, it's something to aspire to.
That just reminded me of another zone to question you about. So,
Uh-oh.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how well can you back a trailer?
Oh, good heavens. I'm going to say a solid 2, 3 on a good day.
Really?
Terrible.
Okay.
That's why I started the website. I mean, that is the entire reason I started the website, because I have such angst about trailer backing. So I have satellite imagery of all the equine parking areas, only so I could see how nervous I am going to be about getting in and out.
You
Honest to
planning
goodness.
your route. If you pull
Yep,
up there and there's a car in the wrong spot, you're like, oh, we got to turn this thing around and get out of here. Because
I'm in trouble.
so, do you ever notice that? You could tell who drives a trailer and who doesn't by where they'll park in a parking lot like that. Like if they take that middle territory when there was an open corner, you're just like, you ass. You should not have parked right there when you had other options.
True, but so I also have huge anger management issues. I'm getting better, thus the Buddhism. But so when I see that now, I just reframe it as they're learning and they're the same place I was. Because I used to be the guy that parked right in the middle. That used to be me. So I try to reframe it as, hey, they're on the beginning of their journey just like I was at one point. Let's give them some grace. It's either that or I have to like slash their tires.
Yeah, or some manure on the hood, or a little something like that, little present for them to think about a little more.
Exactly.
Would you share with us a horse industry related pet peeve?
A horse industry related pet peeve. Um, I guess it's horse industry. My pet peeve is not picking up at the trailhead. Um, I know poops are water soluble, kind of, sorta, but we share our trailheads with lots of other people, and they vote too. And so, if we don't clean up after ourselves, we will lose access. That's my pet peeve. That and not putting the shopping cart back, but that's not equine related.
That test of humanity right there. Yep, absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, so this one may or may not apply to you. We'll see. But feral or spoiled. So if you had to get a new mule into your string, would you rather
I'd rather have feral.
feral?
Yep. I'd much rather have feral than spoiled.
Me too. Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Patently obvious. Has to be smooth.
Oh, and you even mentioned the peanut M&Ms, and now,
But that's
man,
not peanut butter.
but it's a texture. Like you got the crunch, you got hard candy shell, then chocolate, then the peanut. Like see that you have that exploration of texture in that bite.
I do not disagree, but it's been a pleasure talking to you, Daniel. Have a great day. Good day.
Okay, and this episode is sponsored by Anger Management 4, the new movie coming out.
You got the NPR voice going there. Sponsored by.
Welcome to Lake Wobegon. Um, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
What breed? Any particular breed or category that you prefer?
I have been thinking about border collies as of late. but I'm afraid they would be much smarter than I. And that's a pretty low bar. So who would work for whom?
Well, you're going with the mules, so sort of temperamental and smart. You've already got that vibe rolling through, so I like it.
There you go.
Bay or sorrel
Ah,
or any
four-legged.
other four-legged, no preference at all.
Four-legged, no preference.
Okay.
I just had that
Bay,
discussion a couple days ago. Um, Wanted a mule with color. Like, why? It's going to roll in mud. It's going to turn into mud color regardless. But yeah, no preference.
do you have a favorite piece of tack or horse-related tool?
Ooh, I like gadgets. It's an unhealthy obsession. So my
Mhm.
favorite piece of tack or horse related tools would be a Highline kit that has like pulleys and swivels on it, and it is oh so fancy. Chris Clark.
Pulleys. Okay, that's interesting. We could talk about that a little bit more in depth too. I made a major upgrade, I feel like, to my Highline kit when I put it all in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. So it's self-contained and like that was a serious upgrade for me. Like that really, and then you
That's
can
high
stand on
cotton.
the bucket. Yeah, I mean, like that's a so but pulleys on there. Okay.
Yes. I have pulleys on mine that, I mean, a poor man's ratchet, right? 2 to
Hmm.
1. Uh, but he has like marine grade, you know, guy line pulleys. So adds a little weight, but it's a gadget and it's cool.
Hmm. Play it like a guitar string when you get done.
Oh, buddy.
What is the best smell in the barn?
Hey, a barn full of freshly cut hay or freshly hauled hay. I guess freshly cut would be dangerous because the barn had burned down, but freshly stored hay.
That's a nice nuance noticing there. I like that. Okay. On a scale of 31 to 37, how glad are you
Which
that
is good
people
and which
don't?
is bad.
So 37 would be you want it, 31 would be you don't.
Okay.
So how glad are you that people don't spontaneously express themselves through song and dance?
Um, 31. I kind of wish if we did more of it, I think we'd be a lot more sure about people as opposed to having to wonder.
Okay, now here's one. So I kind of pride myself with most people on judging them on this one prior, but you're honestly one of those guys I could see this going either way. So
Okay.
Robert Eversole, thoughts or feelings? Are you more
Feelings.
feelings?
Yeah,
Okay. Would you say that's a change for you, or are you this is
definitely.
more the Buddhist graduation sort of a deal, or
Buddhist journey. I don't think you ever graduate, but yeah,
well,
definitely.
yeah, okay.
Definitely. The Marine Corps really doesn't put a lot of weight in feelings. We kind of stick them in our hip pocket and motor on.
There's people to kill ahead.
Pretty much.
Uh, your favorite and least favorite barn chore.
Favorite barn chore? Picking poo. It's very zen-like. Least favorite? Fixing fence.
Okay. There is always plenty of both of those to do.
Unfortunately, yes.
Sweet, salty, or spicy.
Sweet.
Okay.
I don't really go too many places without said packet of peanut M&Ms nearby.
Okay. Do you carry that sort of stuff on the trail? Are you a
Oh,
trail
good
snacks
heavens.
guy or?
It is not. It is not a ride unless there are peanut M&Ms and snacks. Good heavens, my friend! I'm not a
Did,
savage.
so do you carry like a jar of peanut butter? Or this could be four spoonfuls at lunch to get me through and move me on, or not so
No,
much.
no peanut M&Ms, sardines, chunk of cheese, and an apple.
Okay, I like it. Favorite dinosaur or deep sea creature?
Dinosaur or deep sea creature? We're gonna go with coelacanth. Kind of both.
Okay, explain. I'm not really sure what that is.
The coelacanth is like the oldest type of fish in the world. They were only known from fossils up until the 1930s when somebody caught one off of the coast of South Africa. Some type of dinosaur fish.
Okay.
Coelacanth.
Are they bony or cartilaginous fish? Do you know? I
I
guess if
am
they have
not an
fossils.
I am not an ichthyologist, so I do not know.
So what I'm thinking, like the sharks, rays, and skates are cartilaginous fish. They don't have bones, and thus there's generally no fossils of them. Only the teeth
Oh,
remain.
so I guess
So
they
these might
are
actually.
have skeletons then.
That would be my thought. I'm gonna have to look those up. Coelacanths.
Coelacanth. It's got a weird spelling. It's Greek or something. But yeah, coelacanth.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. Okay, and our final question: have you ever had a UFO encounter?
No.
All right, decisive answer. Okay, Robert, let me get to the analytics here and tabulate your score.
There's scores.
Oh, it isn't for points and prizes. I didn't
All
tell you.
right.
All right, Robert, you may be a little blown away, and I know you're probably not a real competitive guy, but you have our highest score of all time for this game right now. You have cracked 5,997 points. And Robert, this entitles you to either an awkward silence or a genuine compliment, your choice.
We'll go with awkward silence.
It's the right decision every single time to go with awkward silence. Yes, sir. Okay. So our first question for everybody, once we pass the icebreakers, is Robert Eversole, would you tell us the 30,000-foot view of what it is that you do in the horse business?
Well, if I could figure that out, gee golly. I was talking about this just the other day as well. So I started this website, Trailmeister, going on almost 20 years ago now, because I had angst over finding places to ride. And I used to drive my car to the trailheads just to see how bad it would be. But that becomes untenable after over a certain radius. So started a website. That in turn led to magazine columns, which led to the expo circuit and doing clinics, which led to the books. So, I have the best retirement gig in the world. But as far as what do I do other than gallivant, a whole bunch of different stuff.
So is it fair to say this was not a plan? You didn't decide I'm going to be the trail clinician or anything. You kind of organically fell into this and here you are.
Life's misadventures.
I resonate with that. The bit thing is kind of similar to me. That was in no way, shape, or plan for me. So yet here we are. So um so have you? I know now you're riding a string of mules, packing and riding a string of mules. Have you always been a mule guy?
No, I have not. Always thought the ears were way, way cool, but also felt that they were far, far beyond me. Stubborn as a mule, mean as a mule, and just never thought that they would be, in my wheelhouse until my packing mentor Ed decided I was ready for mules. And when an 85-year-old man decides you're ready for mules, you kind of say okay and nod your head and pray for the best.
So now looking back on that moment, did you take that as affirmation that he liked you or that he didn't?
That he liked me. Sometimes I did wonder, though. Sometimes I did wonder.
So, so with the start of this, all the Trailmeister appearing, would you kind of give us like were you into horses before that, or like what catapulted you into not only doing this as a hobby, but turning it into the profession? Just the business side, if you said, hey, there's an opportunity here and I have to go forth, or it was more the wanting to serve, or what?
As I'm going to use a line from my clinics. Would you like to hear a story?
Yes, I would, please.
I got into horses because of women. Um, I got volunteered to do a check presentation for a therapy center outside of Cincinnati. And one of the volunteers was quite fetching. And I figured if I was going to have a shot at all with her, I had to get more involved with these smelly, scary 1,000-pound animals.
Okay, that may be the best possible reason to get into this. So, you got me on the edge of my seat so far.
Yep. So yeah, that's why I got into horses. Kind of fell in love with them, especially on the therapy side. So then made a huge mistake, bought a horse, got a horse, and then being a good Midwestern boy, had to have a job for said horse. So joined a mounted search and rescue team, uh, and that led to, they used to like to have a beverage around the campfire. They used to go camping quite a bit, and I cannot have a beverage and drive home, so I had to figure out this camping thing. Beer and women.
Uh-huh. I like it. So that has you more in the Midwest, starting this off, and now you are West Coast and I would say predominantly Rockies based in the riding that you do.
Yep.
So what's the difference in your mind, or maybe the similarities in things you need to know to ride on flat ground, the Appalachians, and then the treacherous side of the Rockies over there?
I would respectfully argue that there's not a lot of difference. The terrain is a little bit different, but a 20-foot creek drainage in Ohio is just as hazardous as 1,000-foot precipice in the high country. Either way, you're in trouble. It's just how long you have to repent on the way down. So, the the uh, the underlying stuff to know is, I really think it's the same. I mean, the big difference out here is that there are places where I could ride, to Canada and not come across, um, asphalt road. Where back east, you go a mile in any direction and you're going to find a county road or something. Here, I have much bigger expanses.
That must be really nice. Yeah, I'm also in the kind of area where there's places I could go a few miles, but I couldn't go more than a few miles, and you're going to hit something, and you're going to see a
Yeah,
telephone pole the whole way, or there's no area where I can get to where there's no evidence that man has been here before. There's a
right.
mark, a scar.
And so yeah, so I'm a volunteer packer. I go a lot into the Bob Marshall complex. So 1.5 million acres, twice the size of Rhode Island. No roads, no machines. It's pretty groovy.
So you were teaching yourself this stuff and having these experiences. What changed and had you shift into teaching others? Because that's a lot of people trail ride. Not everybody makes it a job and writes books and so forth. So
I would respectfully argue that I did not teach myself. I have had a lot of wonderful mentors. I'm standing on a lot of excellent shoulders, a whole bunch of excellent shoulders. I mean, we've had meals together, Daniel. We know that I am not the sharpest knife in the block. Um, but yeah, I've had a tremendous number of people help me along the way, and the clinics and whatnot are my way to pass them on. It's not about me; it's about you know passing on Ken and Russ and Ed, um, and what they've taught me for those next generations, and hopefully whoever I talk with will share it down the way. So, so it's far from me. I'm standing on a lot of really great shoulders.
Sure, sure. So let me ask you this, because this kind of, I'm not going to say it's incongruent, but it's a maybe not so expected part of this, and this would be the girth thing, which is a pretty big part of what you do as well. But I know a
And
lot of people that pack.
if you would have told me 20 years ago I'd be doing arts and crafts, I would have said no. Yeah, the cinch thing. Got a new small mule. Couldn't find a cinch that fit. And so Ed, my packing mentor, showed me how to make a cinch. And because I have this weird OCD thing, had to figure out how to do so better. And that led me to Mr. Bork, who Bork Saddlery makes used to make bronze rings and fittings for saddles, as well as back in the day ran some type of sweatshop for children making cinches commercially. Um, so hung out with him for a hot minute, tried to figure out my own take on it, and one thing led to another. So I needed a cinch for a pack mule.
So would you say that you are a confirmed do-it-yourselfer, or are there a lot of things like this where you come across a little problem and next thing you know, it's a rabbit hole you spent 5 years in, and now you know more about it than 80% of the people that are in the business and all of that? Or that kind of sum you up a little bit, Robert?
I call it my superpower, making things more difficult than they need to be.
Yep. It feels familiar to me somehow there. So you've actually written a book on cinch building called It's a Cinch, and you gave a
Yep.
cinch building clinic. So are you making the, I don't know the proper term for it, but the board that you use to stretch everything out
The
and kind of
loom.
set the
Yep.
loom, okay? So
Yep.
you do the woodworking part of it, the setting that up, and now we have the buckles and the materials, and why don't you run us through a little bit about what that looks like?
So a cinch clinic is 8 odd hours of migraines and sore fingers. Uh, I'm a great salesman, aren't I? But we make fabric. If somebody in the Paleolithic could weave two strings together, by golly, so can we. But yeah, and we talk about cinch sizing. I mean, I think we as people, as horsemen, we spend a huge amount of time talking about the animal's top line for saddle fit. I think we spend entirely too little time thinking about the undercarriage and how that cinch, how the seatbelt for the saddle hangs on. So, but yeah, we weave cinches, cowboy crochet.
So is this something pretty much anybody can do, or is this a highly skilled we'll get into this more later, but and I didn't know this about you at first, but you and I are both big time confirmed not nerds. So we're gonna have to get a little further into that. But so do you have to be a not nerd to make a cinch,
Heavens
or
no.
not really?
Two knots.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, yeah, it's anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. My cinches are at best functional, but it's such so cool that in the clinics, some people are making artwork. because they understand colors and design. Where I have an orange stripe for Coco, so I know that's what belongs on her.
Well, there's form and there's function. I can appreciate that. Uh, so what about materials? Are you a confirmed mohair guy, or we'll go a few different ways with this, or
Um,
what?
I like mohair, but I've used everything from rayon to synthetics. I guess rayon is a synthetic. Um, I've experimented with different stuff. I keep going back to mohair. It's got some give, it breathes. And especially on the clinic side, on promoting a clinic, they have better marketing than, rayon. I do have a
Mhm.
spool of rayon though, because it was cheap.
All right. Are you a single layer cinch guy or a multi-layer cinch, or whatever your
Single,
preference? Or
single
single?
layer.
Is it an
Yeah,
advantage for you in some way, or what?
they're easier to make, which is a huge plus. And at 300 pounds breaking strength per strand, a single layer, 15 strands, what have you, that's enough to pick up the truck and the trailer anyway. I don't need to double that weight. So single breathes better, dries quicker.
Do you have a preference on buckles and things, so that you have like I only use this brand of roller buckle because it's my deal, or not so much?
I do. I use rings. I have angst about buckles because I worry about the tongue impaling me or my pony. So I use rings and latigo knots in all four corners. But that's an angst thing.
Okay.
And I don't like roller buckles. Just don't. And rings are cheap.
Hmm. I like that simplistic. So I have, and I'm actually, I am fixing to rig my Colt breaking saddle up this way again, because I did it for years and somehow got away from it and have decided to go back and play in the same sandbox again. But I used to have uh, latigos on my rear cinch on my Colt breaking saddle too, so that
Hmm.
I could snug that up, and instead of the 2 inch wide leather thing, I had an actual mohair girth back there for a little more comfort, but
Yep.
really thinking about getting them broke to that in a little more comfort oriented way. And in fact, I'm going to do that this afternoon, because I have all the stuff sitting there to do it. I just haven't actually stripped it off and done it yet. So
There you
when
go.
you go to rig pack saddles, what would you say is different in rigging a pack saddle up for a horse or a mule versus a riding saddle?
The spider and all the tugs and everything. I run britchin on all of my riding animals anyway, as opposed to a crooper. So you have those tugs, but you have so many more straps and tugs on a pack saddle. You got everything coming off of that spider. So yeah, just a lot more buckles and whatnot.
So in terms of, you were talking about the undercarriage and kind of conformation and all, and what might be different between a riding saddle and a pack saddle in terms of placement and conformation of the animal and everything.
Yeah. As far as the cinches for them, I there's not a hobble in between the front and the rear cinch on a pack saddle because I'm running my Manti load through there, and I don't want that hobble interfering with that. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. On my riding animals, I went back to a leather rear as opposed to the mohair rear. I love the woven rear, but it doesn't play well with spurs.
Hmm.
So I went back to the leather, flank on the riding saddles.
Okay, I like it. Um, so you do some. I don't know if it's professional or volunteer, but you do some work oriented packing these days. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that, what that looks like, and how long, and and everything?
So I'm a volunteer packer, so mostly through backcountry horsemen work parties, and I like hauling trail crew. So I will show up at a trailhead, the night before, and take in trail crew, their tools, their camp, their food for however long their hitch is going to be. Call it 4 or 5 days, up to 2 weeks, and then haul all of their stuff in so they don't have to carry it to a base camp, drop them all off, and then I go fishing. Uh, and then I come back and pick up their stuff and head back to the trailhead.
So what are for those that may not know, what are trail crews out there doing?
Trail crew are the folks that are maintaining the infrastructure of our wild areas. So doing everything from trail tread work to clearing trail to I've hauled panes of glass to fire lookouts before. I've hauled wildlife biologists in assessing invasive fish populations. It's helping the people that are taking care of the infrastructure to our wildlands. The It's the they that take care of places.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any cool stories of biologists and some of the things you may have seen or been told by biologists the rest of us may not be privy to out there?
Uh yeah. I don't know about privy or not, but I know. So when they're assessing invasive fish populations and they kill off a drainage system to get rid of invasive fish, and they repopulate with natives. Like the following year, it's a multi-year process. But when they reintroduce native fish, sometimes they do what they call population swamping, which is when they could not get rid of all the invasives, so that they just super stock a lake or drainage system with what they want to swamp the genetic system with what they want in there. Those areas, even I can catch a fish. So, and no, I'm not going to share where. Because I'm selfish like that. But even I can catch a fish when they genetically swamp.
So I heard about this not long ago. Are you familiar with catfishing in the dating world and all? Now they have dating apps and stuff. So that's basically when someone will get, say, a picture of a real pretty lady off of the internet and then create a fake profile so all the guys think that they're talking to this blonde bombshell. And so anyway, this guy set up a fake dating profile specifically to get fishing spots. He would catfish these folks and start chatting with them. They think they're talking to this pretty lady, and so we're going to go on a fishing date and so forth. And so he was doing that just to get fishing spots, and I have to respect that. Like there's a level of what we would call canaille to that. That's just like, yeah, okay, that deserves a clap. I'm sorry,
you
but
know, grudgingly have to respect that.
okay. Well, what I was really trying to get you to admit was that we know the existence of Bigfoot and exactly where they're at. So you can tell us, Robert, right here. Go ahead.
If that makes your heart happy, go for it. I have I've actually had a lot of people ask because a lot of the places I go, especially in the Pasayten complex right along the Canadian border in north central Washington, there are a lot of sightings of Bigfoots just north of me, 2 hours north of me, 2 hours north of Spokane is the annual Bigfoot Festival, and they're into it. I cannot say I have ever had a weird encounter though, so
So
I am
this
fairly
is a
boring.
public this is a public service announcement reminding you folks, don't eat mushrooms out in the wild, okay? Leave them alone. So here's a fun fact for you. Okay, so this has been 10 or 15 years ago. I was really getting the homesteading bug. I was raising rabbits and quail and all kind of stuff, and I wanted to start also raising mushrooms. And so I'm kind of famous for my innocent Google searches, but I go to innocently Googling, how to raise mushrooms, and it was all the psilocybin stuff. Like if
Oh.
you're gonna Google mushroom farming, you need to add the word edible to that. And so you will. But I was shocked that you can buy kits to grow this stuff, and they'll just ship it to you through the mail, and it's perfectly legal and
You
everything. I
can?
was, yeah,
I
I
thought
was.
but they're illegal, aren't they? I guess not.
I mean, you can buy it off the internet easily. That's all I'm going to say. Whether you get caught or not, I don't know, but you can definitely get it done. So don't accidentally get it done because that might be
Wow.
a
So
dinner party no one lets you live down.
you were talking earlier about things that people might not know about me. So uh, um, psychedelics. I don't know about mushrooms, but marijuana is legal in the Pacific Northwest,
Hmm.
and I have never ever partaken ever. Well, the Marine Corps, you kind of not allowed, but it's legal here now. And last year, I really was I wanted to try. It's legal, I'll give it a whirl. But the OCD thing raised its ugly head, and so you have to do research.
Hmm.
And when you're 60 years old, we have regular medical things.
Hmm.
And so, what do? You talk with your anesthesiologist, somebody whose entire job is better living through chemistry. So, Doc, if I wanted to do this, what would you recommend?
Oh,
And wound
well,
up not, but I had a conversation with my anesthesiologist about the pros and cons of cannabis usage in the backcountry.
that's something. Yep.
Who
That's
would who would who would know better?
yep. That's true. It's better than learning from the other middle schoolers.
That's
That's the
kind
way
of
to
what
go
I
about it.
figured.
So, oh, the world we live in. Yeah, I had that awakening. I did some stuff in Colorado here a few years ago, and it is now legal in Louisiana. But I was not expecting to travel to a state and there's marijuana dispensaries on every corner and all like that. Slapped me in the face. I was like, what the and people are just smoking it on the street like it's nothing,
Yeah,
and that's yeah.
yeah. Same here. It was Colorado that actually lit the bug. John Denver's Rocky Mountain High. He wrote an
Mhm.
entire song about getting high in the backcountry, and I go to the backcountry, you know. And I just thought that it seemed to make a lot of sense, at least from the song. I've since decided that perhaps not the best idea for me, but whatever works, Mister.
Yeah. Well, like you, I have not ever partaken, but I had a roommate in college who was into that scene, and so I have been the sober person around a bunch of potheads many times, and for me, they look like they're having a good time, but when you watch smart people turn legitimately dumb temporarily, like it leaves an impression. People have no idea how stupid they are when they're high. Like it's really so. Anyway, okay, moving on, I guess. The things you have in a podcast conversation that you didn't see coming. Um, so before we leave, I guess the world of knots. So I'll say the Highline thing. I'm a confirmed trucker's hitch guy. Like that's always been
Oh,
good enough for me. I'm happy with it. I've never thought I need pulleys on this to get it
but
tighter. I
Chris's
tighten it
pulleys are
again.
just cool.
I'll agree. So I've got the engineering background. I like the gadgets and all of that. That sounds. I just saw a guy that invented a paracord fit in your pocket 6-to-1 block and tackle.
Oh my.
And yeah, like I'm thinking I have to, because
You've been a tree
550
over with that.
paracord. Yeah, I mean you could pick up 3,000 pounds with this thing
Yeah.
in a single strand of paracord. Like so. Anyway, it's yeah, cool things that we have in the world today. So, what's your favorite knot? Do you have a knot that you just love? Do you have one you aspire to or aspire
I
to?
use Bolin's almost daily. I use a Stockman's Bolin to tie to the trailer. Use a Bolin to start a high line. Um, these, you know, I'm really not that bright, so I can't. My brain housing group can't memorize lots and lots of different knots. So a Bolin, a trucker's hitch, a prusik, a half hitch. That's about it.
Okay. Prussik's one of my favorites. I use that on my high lines too. I'm a
Constantly.
That's a really cool knot and so simple. Like that's what I
Yeah.
love is when something is incredibly simple but functional like that.
Yep.
So for those that may not know, that's a climbing knot, and it's basically a loop that you wrap around a line, and then you can easily slide it on the line. But if you put a bind on it, it will hold. So you can use it like a ladder. You could scale the side of a cliff with
That's
a
why
couple
Dr.
of prusik.
Prusik invented it
I
in
mean,
Austria in 1930 something. And
it
high alpine, high angle rescue people still use it to this day.
it
It's
is
just,
is super.
it's the berries.
And then if you put that on a high line and you use that to snap your horses into, you can easily move them 3 feet further this way or whatever. And I mean, it's just a
Exactly.
really cool knot. I've got a YouTube video on that actually. So that's been a long time ago. I hadn't thought about that video in quite a while. So cooking in the back country. I know we
Love
have a
it.
few little differences on this, but what does that look like to you? You're packing in, so you're bringing all the cast iron and all that stuff, or what?
No, I like my mules. No. Um, if I were an outfitter and had lots and lots of stock, in a heartbeat, because that's what we think of when we think of packing, the wall tent, the Dutch oven, whatever. I mean, that's living. Um, that's not me. I'm the freeze dry boilie meal kind of guy. I kind of figure anything tastes good, seasoned by sweat and dirt. So, although I will say this, I do like to cook, love to cook at home. Uh, I guess 4 years ago, I packed in the fixins for a chocolate cake from scratch on my camp stove. So I did that. I don't know that it was the smartest thing to do in grizzly country, but it was appreciated.
So I have done a lot of backpacking in my day. I've done more backpacking than horse packing, and I hate those little stoves. I have to say, the little jet boil type thing. It's pretty impressive what they do if you're backpacking. But like the whole point to me for bringing a horse is we're about to have a 3-star Michelin meal out here in the mountains. I will bring a whole picnic roast, potatoes, mushrooms, carrots. We're going to put some Guinness beer in there and we're going to slow roll that into the fire
I
for
would like
about
to
three
go with you.
hours. And I mean, if you come camping with me, we're going to eat good, like real good. But
Okay.
my wife is more like you. She wants to have a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. And I'm like, no, that's not, no, that's like, we're going to have
Well,
cake, dessert,
and that's
the
the
whole nine
beauty
yards.
though. You can have it's not one or the other. You can have both.
Yeah.
So yeah, while um I would like to eat like that if somebody else's mules carried everything.
So we talked a little bit about this at dinner one evening, and maybe this is something I shouldn't admit as a horse trainer, but a huge aspiration for me. I don't think I'll ever get this done just because of life, but I would love to have a string of pack goats because I really do like hiking. I love the horse thing as well, and I think I could get the goats to follow me.
Okay.
And so, have you had much interaction with any pack goats out there or anything?
None, but I think it would be a hoot. We did have a
So
rodeo with an alpaca once, which was not pleasant.
I have
Um,
no
but
desire for that. Yeah.
but never ran into a goat string. I think it would be hilarious, like a whole bunch of circus clowns, just following somebody along like the Pied Piper.
See, you don't even tie them really. They just follow
Yeah,
like they're a herd animal. You don't have to bring any food for them. So like packing horses and mules, you have to have a plan for
right.
that. But goats are just going to browse on stuff as you go along.
And if
Where
it
can
gets
a
bad,
goat
you can
not
just eat
go?
one.
Yeah, yeah, that's possible too. Um, and if you can go there, if a man or a horse can get there, the goat was waiting on you 10 minutes ago, right? Like
Certainly.
they can go absolutely anywhere. And they use dairy goats, which will get up to about 200 plus pounds. So they have a useful load of about 50 pounds per goat. So you
Okay.
got six or
That's a
eight
lot.
goats. You can haul a lot of crap in. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got all the food and beer and cast iron that you need. So
And they'd
anyway,
all
I
fit in the
just
back of a minivan. You wouldn't have to
yeah,
have the dually extended cab and the four-horse trailer.
there is a guy. I might actually have to get him on the podcast. His name's Mark Warinki, and that's goat packing is his thing. And he literally has a cage built for the back of his truck. He can put 6 or 8 goats back there, no trailer or anything, and goat, doesn't have the anxiety of how am I going to back this trailer when I'm only a 2 out of 10 at the trailhead. He just pulls straight into the parking spot, right?
There you go.
Anyway, goats are cool. I like goats. So
I
one day we'll
I
get it
still
done.
think about the baby goat at the Kansas Expo at the end of our aisle.
Uh-huh.
I
When
wish I
they were
would have bought
raffling.
more raffle tickets because I wanted to win that little thing and ship it east to my brother and his daughters.
So, and that goat was still, I kind of wonder about because the people were packing up at the end of Sunday, and that goat was still there pretty much last thing. I don't know if the people that want it were supposed to come get it or how that worked out, but that goat could still be in that convention center for all I know.
It was personable enough, I'm sure it found a home.
Ah.
I would have been tempted to put it in my overhead luggage on the plane.
So with your freeze dried meals and stuff, are you willing to stoop to ramen? Like, are you good with that? No shame in your game, or what?
No shame in that at all. I don't typically do the freeze dried. I do dehydrated only because I'm too cheap for my own freeze dryer. But I'm actually it's on the list of the next book um, about camping as a horseman and some of the different options. I want to include a section on the Dutch oven stuff, but also easy shelf stable stuff that is available at the local grocery as opposed to going to the camping specific store and the freeze dried stuff that is crazy expensive.
It
So,
is kind of nuts how expensive that stuff
but some
gets.
of it is really good. Some of it is entirely too full of things I cannot pronounce, but the like the gravy and biscuit one from Mountain House, oh my goodness. I don't think my cardiologist would like it, and I don't can't pronounce the name of some of the chemicals in there, but gee golly, that's good eats.
That's what I don't get about that stuff either. Is that it's freeze dried. It doesn't need preservatives. It lasts forever, 25 or 30 years minimum.
So why do they
Anyway,
need monosodium gluta blah 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 blahs?
yep. That's what I don't understand. That should be like a very clean food source for you, not uh, so if enough people were interested and it gave you the excuse to write the book, would you get your own freeze dryer and do your own sort of freeze dried meals and that kind of thing? Or I see it, you should see his face right now, folks. He is like Christmas morning kid in the candy store. Oh hell
Oh,
yeah.
buddy. Oh, buddy, would I.
Oh,
A new toy?
It's a gadget, Robert.
It's
It
a
is a gadget.
gadget.
Uh, so, what about sleeping systems? How do you prefer to get your 40 winks out there on the trail?
Depends on where. But typically, since I'm afraid of snakes and bugs, I do hammocks a lot.
I am 100% with you on that. The hammock thing is the greatest thing to happen to camping in my lifetime, I believe.
Hammocking is just the berries.
Yep. It is. So, for those that may not understand what we're saying here, this is not the hammock you're thinking about on the beach with the mohair like rope and these big diamonds in it and all this stuff. These are hammocks designed for you to sleep in. I don't know about you in your part of the world. An absolute must for my part of the world is they have to have a mosquito net on them,
Mm-hmm.
so you're completely encapsulated in that. And then generally we will hang you
A
stretch it
ridge
between
line
a
and a
couple
tarp.
trees. Yeah, and then a ridge line with a tarp. Because again, in my part of the world, it is probably going to rain on you, or at least a heavy dew at night. So if you don't have a tarp above you, you will wake up wet
Yep.
in the early morning. But some great sleep out there in the hammock
Oh,
on the
buddy.
trail for sure. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, but hammocks, love them.
So, and pro tip for all of the men over the age of 40, take you a Gatorade bottle into that baby with you at night, and you don't even have to get out of it at 3 o'clock in the morning. So
And you
I'll
stay
let you.
warm.
Yeah. So I know you're one of the things you talk about in your presentations is that you're always chasing snow. So is there anything that people interested in hammock camping might want to be made aware of for camping when it might be cool at night?
Convective heat loss is a thing, and you want some type of insulation underneath you.
Yep, you will freeze your butt off in a hammock. Absolutely, if
The
you're not
first
prepared for that.
time went hammock camping, we called that the night of the Dementors. Uh, was not good, but you live and learn. And so now I'm pretty cheap, so I have never invested in the proper under quilts for hammock camping, but have like a 2 mil neoprene, like a beach blanket type deal that goes on the bottom of the hammock and just lay on top of that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, convective heat loss should be bad.
Yep. But the plus side of that is if you're like in my part of the world where it's hot, it's really difficult to sleep camping between like June and September down here. But if
Oh,
you get your butt up off the ground in the hammock, now that heat loss is working in your favor, and I can sleep pretty decently out there most of the year.
there you
So
go.
that's one of the better. And then you don't have to worry about what the ground looks like underneath you, right? It could be rocky,
Exactly.
rough, uneven, or whatever because you're
Rocks,
hanging in the air.
roots, no big deal.
And I will say here, if anybody is potentially interested in this, it's not the greatest long term solution, but Amazon has got a bunch of $30 to $40 mosquito net hammocks that you can try out for 20 nights or something, and they'll get you through and give you an idea of what it's like before you invest 2 or 300 into the good stuff. But so I've actually gone through several of those, and I buy them for my kids because they're going to lose it or tear it up long before quality became
Yep.
the problem anyway. So how about bread, Robert? Tell us about your life with bread.
Bread. I am the Saturday bread guy at the local monastery, or the local abbey, I guess. It's an abbey. Um, I like to cook, and I think most people during COVID picked up some additional hobby. Mine was baking. And so, depending upon the season, it's quick bread, sourdoughs. Got into yeast breads pretty heavy last year, and rolled breads. Any bread full of chocolate is a good thing. So got into those. And during the holiday season, of course, it's pumpkin breads.
So last we talked, I was trying to get you into trying a focaccia. Have you done a focaccia yet?
I have not yet. It's on the list, but above the focaccia is the babka,
Oh,
which is similar-ish. It's a braided yeast bread, but eggy, more like a challah with, again, chocolate filling.
okay. Well, it sounds very good. I'll tell you that my Guinness pork roast with mushrooms and focaccia bread on the trail, like that, we got to get you one of those.
That
That's a must
sounds really
have.
good, as long as they are not foraged mushrooms. And I might want to see the label from the store after talking about some of the things that you've run across.
No, there are some mushrooms in my local area that I know how to forage, and I'm safe and secure about. But I wouldn't head to the Rockies and assume I knew. That's a whole different. I'm not that kind of a fun guy. But so let's talk a little bit about some of your other books. So we'll start off since we're talking about packing and cooking and all that. The ABCs of trail riding and horse camping.
Yeah,
Is this your first book? How long has that one been out,
it's
and
the
what's it
first
about?
book. It was on the Amazon #1 list in the equine genre for just over 3 months. And it, yeah, it's due this year for a second edition. If you ever want to be humbled, write something, put anything out for the public, and have reviews that are more or less the following: excellent information, loved the book. Images looked like they were taken with a broken photocopier. So, so yeah, due for a rewrite, and an expansion, but yeah, 178 different topics that I think are important to trail riders and horse campers. Not necessarily packers, but it's all still applicable. But yeah, the ABCs, the basis of one of my clinics in Kansas.
Yeah. Well, very good. And there is a ton of stuff on that I'm camping a lot, and I'm around people that camp a lot, and you're just constantly picking up little tidbits here and there, and
Oh, heavens,
new and
yes.
improved, and kind of like, how did I never think of that before? It's so obvious now that someone has said it out loud, right?
Right.
Um, so do you have that available on your website? Are there like signed copies or anything, or this is ahead
Yeah,
to Amazon for it?
you can go to the website trailmeister.com. There's signed copies with handcrafted bookmarks because I like to
Ah,
make sawdust. But you can get a signed copy from the website. But quite frankly, it's a lot cheaper to order them from Amazon. And my woodwork is not that great.
well, but Amazon wouldn't have signed copies, right?
They would not have signed copies.
Yeah.
That is
So
really the best thing about writing a book. When people it is the biggest ego rush in the world to sign a copy from someone. I think Jung would have a lot to say about it, but it is a huge, huge rush for me.
I have to say I haven't done this as long as you have, but I still find the picture autograph thing exceedingly awkward and weird. I don't know that I'm ever gonna get
It
used to
is
that, but
awkward and weird, but so cool.
I mean, it's a thing. Yeah, I gotta say it, like at Equifest, I was next to Dave Showtime Myers in his
Yeah,
booth, and it was just nothing but people coming to take pictures with him, and also it gave me a I got a little more used to it and everything, and kind of saw and if it makes people happy. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Just on your end, a total stranger walking up and wanting to take a picture with you and sign something is it's weird for us. I guess I'll just say that.
concur, but I was doing clinics at, believe it was the Sacramento Western States Expo, and this was a number of years ago. and talked with, good heavens, was it Warwick? I think it was Warwick Schiller. And he asked, well, what are you selling? Well, nothing. That was before the books. And he said, you got to have something. I'm like, why? I'm giving information away. And he said, people come to these things and they want a memento of meeting you. You need to. It's their souvenir. So you need to have something. And so since I am not good at knots, rope halters were out of the question. But the books really came into play, and when I frame it like that it's not, it's a way of, somebody, say, hey, I met this guy, which
Hmm.
the reframing helps me keep it from being weird. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So were you into the Buddhism at that point? Did you and
Oh
Warwick have
no,
a no?
no, that's within the past couple of years.
So how has that come about for you? And you keep bringing up your cardiologist and everything. So did you have major heart attack on the trail, Robert?
No, and I'm trying to not have one. The reduction of stress. No, the Buddhism stuff really came from anger management, and learning how to reframe, um, so to reduce stress, really. So yeah, the Buddhism stuff is just complete mindfulness reframing.
Mhm. And then, so the abbey that you were talking about, is that a Buddhist abbey
It,
or
it is
colony
a
or
Buddhist abbey in the middle of no place, Idaho. A Buddhist abbey of all places. But yeah, Sravasti Abbey, and I don't even remember that the town is like three houses and not even a stoplight. So
okay? But they eat bread, so
they
that's what
eat
matters.
bread. Yes. You're doing well when the nuns and the monks, you know, make a point of mentioning the bread.
There is, I know one Buddhist story, and I have to say I kind of have always liked it. It was a monk that gets chased by some tigers off of the edge of a cliff. He's like hiding on a little shelf off a cliff, and there's tigers below and tigers above, and certain death. And he looks down and he sees a strawberry growing there, and he picks it and says, "What a perfect strawberry," and all. And it's kind of enjoy the moment no matter what and all. And there's a lot in that to appreciate, I
Yeah.
think. So yeah. So you're going to see what a clever segue this was. You have another book called Daily Wisdom from the Saddle. So, is there any connection there from the Buddhism thing and mindfulness and all, and then
Oh
getting
yeah.
into your love of poetry, and now you have
Just
this book? Just a
just a
little.
little bit. I've been writing daily affirmations for years now, pre-Buddhism. As an exercise from my mental health therapist, and it helps a lot. And so the book came from, you know, and obviously, what I write for me is different from what's in the book, but what I write for me, you reframe, put it in an outdoor, equestrian context, and a lot of those things are universal. So so yeah, it kind of came through. So yeah, yeah, it was a way to, put on paper a lot of the things that, we clutter our minds with.
This is kind of, as we're talking about communes in the middle of Idaho, it's reminding me of my capitalist tendencies, and I have forgotten our sponsor for the episode, Robert. So I'm going to take a jump into that and pay the bills real quick here, if you don't mind. So, Robert, I searched far and near for your sponsor, and actually, it wound up being a company I have had a sponsor before, but this is a new product of theirs. So, Robert Eversole, your episode sponsor is Hank and Frank's Equi Air Boots. You've seen a variety of hoof boots. Some slip on with buckles, some have laces and ratcheting mechanisms. You can glue on protection. There are inserts, there are grease zerts. Some have suction, and some just suck. Hank and Frank are here to revolutionize the industry with the first hoof boots that take into account the thing nobody has. We've put an inflatable sole in our hoof boots. That's right. Hank and Frank want to pump your horse's boots up. There's no need to bite your tongue in frustration anymore. Our hoof boots have a tongue, and you simply squeeze that little bulb, and your horse's bulbs, quarters, and sole will have the support you've only dreamed of. Say goodbye to hoof boots that allow mud inside, get suctioned on, or won't fit an oddly shaped foot. Air fills the void and gives the most cushioned ride of your life. It's like being on a cloud that moves in a soothing rhythm. Are you into cold plunges? Ever take your boots off and dip your toe in that snow melt? Have you ever wondered if your horse balks at that clear, crisp mountain stream because his feet get cold? The powerful insulating properties of air ensure your horse's frog doesn't want to regress back to a tadpole. Are you riding on hot red rocks? Would you go barefoot on those rocks at 2 p.m.? Your tootsies won't tolerate temperatures teetering on terrible either. Why insist that your four-legged buddy do something that you wouldn't? Frank loves to ride a mule. Mules don't have hooves like a horse, unless your farrier is absolutely clueless. Have you ever tried to put a typical hoof boot on a mule? Their ears will clearly express their frustration with the poor fit. Not only do Hank and Frank offer air ride in our Equa Air hoof boots, we also have the world's only hoof boot made for donkeys and mules. We even heard from this guy who talks nonstop about bits that John donkeys and mules have nipples, but male horses don't. Who comes up with stuff like this? Anyway, they're different and deserve protection that fits instead of protection that fails and causes fits. These mule boots are still looking for a name. Frank genuinely believes that the combination of air boots and asses is begging to be called fart boots, and Hank's wife says over her dead body. So please, someone come up with a better name than fart boots. If we select your better name, we'll hook you up with some boots and take the cost of Hank's budget for their next anniversary trip. Hank and Frank's Air Equal Boots. We want to pump your horse's boots up. Okay.
There you go.
We
We want
have
to
paid
pump
the
you
bills
up.
now. There, little toss back to the past. Yep. Okay, I have forgotten what we were on before this. We were talking about your books and the monastery and bread. I didn't take a note. What were we talking about? We were in the middle of something.
We were talking about the book, the affirmations book, the daily affirmation,
Yes. Okay.
366, one for leap year.
Ah, this is a leap year, is it not? Or was last year a leap year?
Haven't the foggiest. Oh, I'll worry at the end of this month.
Yeah. I think last year was. My dad is a leap year baby, and so is my best friend.
Huh.
So I should know this. Let's see. This is not a leap year.
So just 28 this month.
Yes, sir. And last year was not a leap year. So I'm off more than I thought there. Okay. Some years are leap years. It's like what, every 17 with the cicadas or something like that. I don't know. But so do you have some favorite affirmations? Are there any that should be t-shirt or bumper stick worthy or what?
I've thought about that. I don't, but I need to. I need to have like one or two memorized so I can appear really, really literate at dinner parties. And just, have them ready to go, but I am not that good.
So you don't have one or two ready to go then?
I do
You want to take a
not.
moment, flip to page 37 and just see what it says or no? So that's the kind of thing. Are you still doing the daily affirmations? Because in two
Oh,
or
heavens,
3 years,
yes.
you could have a 2.0, a second collection or something there.
Theoretically, yeah. But yeah, I every day, on the yellow legal pad, um, over my first cup of coffee. For me, it's a good way to start the day.
So, are you a
Even
coffee
when
in the?
in the backcountry. But then it's not yellow legal pad, it's the Write in the Rain tiny notebook.
So, are you a first thing in the morning cup of coffee contemplative sort of a guy, or
Oh yeah, without that vitamin caffeine, I am not pleasant company.
are you a coffee snob? Are you like freeze dried Nescafe in the backcountry works, or no? It's got to
Uh,
be a freshly ground.
as long as it's got I did go through the fresh grind, the backcountry grinder kind of thing, the pour over. I went back to the Starbucks Via because it's quick and easy. Hot caffeine is hot caffeine.
Unless you're a Mormon, in which case it's cold caffeine, right?
True. True.
Our buddy Ty, you're talking
Yep.
about that. Um, so what about the vegetarianism? I don't know if or vegan. I don't know. Which are you? Part
Um,
time.
actually, I don't know that I could claim that so much anymore because post Kansas, I have been imbibing. But that was my
Oh,
it was more uh more vegan than vegetarian. Um, because my cardiologist suggested that my cholesterol level was a little high, and I didn't want to try the statins.
that's fair enough.
So,
Oh, growing up is rough on you. You get to certain ages, and yeah, then it all becomes about tests and cholesterol and all of that good stuff.
so
Yeah.
yeah, but post Kansas, um, you know, the the chicken and the pork, they've been having a bad time. Spaghetti with meat sauce is so much better than spaghetti with marinara.
Yep. Well, what about fishing? So you do a lot of fishing in the back country too. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Is that we're packing
I,
in a collapsible fly rod or a Folgers can with worms in it, or what are you doing there?
I do a lot of fishing, collapsible fly rod. Um, the worms didn't do anything to me, so they get to stay in their home. And I am an excellent fisherman, a lousy catcher, but an excellent fisherman. Uh, so yeah, so fly rods, collapsible, and whale at the surface of a stream like a monkey.
What type of fish do y'all mostly have out there? We're talking like trout and things like that, or
Yeah, it's pretty much all trout, at least where I go. So rainbow, cutthroat. Depending on where I go, rainbow is actually considered invasive in some areas, and they're trying to reintroduce some of the species of cutthroat. Um, Hybrids in between the two a fair bit. That's probably 98% of everything that I catch, the rainbows and the cutthroat. So pretty fish.
very good, good for you too, and tasty. Almost that's some of the I have had trout a few times, and I find it's a very mild fish to me compared to some of the stuff we have down here. It's like a fish for people that don't like fish.
True. But with enough, you know, salt, pepper, and lemon salt, and some flour to bread it,
Mhm.
it's good eats.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to have some on the side. That's the picture. I have never done that before, so
Yep.
I hope I get to ride with you someday, and you can show me how it's done, and we'll
I will
fry it
count on
up.
you to do the catching.
Have you ever been saltwater fishing by chance?
I never have. It's on the list. Maybe we a little quid pro quo. High mountains for some salt watering.
So I'll tell you a little story here. This was when April and I were dating. I don't believe we were married yet or anything. And my dad had an offshore saltwater fishing boat for a few years there. And he and I went out and we just had a whale of a day. And this was before, right now, they have some very controversial seasons and stuff on snapper and all. This is before those sorts of things. So we caught red snapper, mangrove snapper. We had some big fish. It was a really, really good day. We come back and Dad is washing the boat and I'm cleaning fish. And my wife is not a fish person at all. She won't eat it in any way, but she's looking through the book that you take with you that has, the fish of the Gulf of Mexico in it and everything. And I had caught the big fish of the day and it was a snapper. And y'all can't see my hands right now, but this was a slab of a fish. It was easily 15 pounds of solid fish up there. And I had just finished cleaning it and cut one half of it off the fillet, and we were going to cook that, grill it for dinner. So if you've never done this with saltwater fish, they have heavy scales. And so you can actually put them on the grill scale side down and they cook in their own skin. It's like the plate. You just pick it up, the whole thing, and then you fork it right out of the skin and the scales. And like this, all the fats there, it's the best way to. So I've just done this to this fish and she's looking through the book and she says, I don't think you're correct. That's not a red snapper because it has this little line right here behind the fin and all. She says, look at this. I think this is what it is. It says it's a blackfin snapper. And I look at it and I go, yeah, I think you're right. I think that is a blackfin snapper. So what? She says, well, it says here the world record is 7 pounds. so so I ate the world record blackfin snapper for supper that
There
night.
you go. And it was good.
It was delicious. Double the world record. I mean, 7 pounds. This thing was, 15. I mean, it was so. That's the kind of life I lead right there. So if you had a couple of tips to give people who are horseback camping out there, some of the most common mistakes we make or things you wish people would knew or would quit doing, go ahead and get it off your chest now. What have you got for us?
Couple tips. Don't let it overwhelm you. Accept that there will be problems and embrace it, and don't make the same ones twice. But don't let the angst or the worry keep you from having a great time. Don't worry about the bears and the cats and the lions. Oh my, worry about the drive to and from the trailhead and bees. But
so bees?
Oh heavens, yes, ground bees.
Okay.
Everybody's running to ground bees.
So are these actual bees or are you talking about like yellow jackets?
Bees, yellow jackets, buzzy things that sting and hurt.
Okay. So I'm a beekeeper. You may not know that about me. But
you as well. I have 2 beehives.
All right. Well, very good. So yeah, my bees are I've had one stingy hive. I don't know if you've gotten your hands on a pretty aggressive hive yet or not, but most of mine have been pretty chill. I had one that was not chill. They had to go, Robert. But so when I think of stingy things in the ground, I'm in my part of the world, that would definitely be a yellow jacket, not a bee.
Yeah, it would definitely be on the wasp side. I say bees as in the vernacular, I guess. I think if on the clinic side, if I started talking about the various genuses, it would lose the impact a little bit.
So I'm not trying to be a hard ass. I was just trying to clarify there if y'all actually did have ground bees that were bad in that part of the world or not. Although I do have, this is one of my pet peeves, people talking about snakes being poisonous. So snakes are almost
venomous,
never
not poisonous.
They are venomous, not poisonous. That's right. So venomous
means they bite you, you die. It's not we eat them and die.
That's exactly correct. Yep. So that's one of my little pet peeves that I try to get out into the world right there. So this is a legit question for you, and you may have some of this on your website and all, but when I think of public land horseback riding, camping, and stuff, uh, maybe the most intimidating or frustrating aspect of that is the varying regulations and restrictions. So some places you can do this, some places you can't, and so forth. So do you have any good resources for us where that gets simplified and made concise and usable, or is
Well,
this a
there's this
frustrating?
website called trailmeister.com. And so I have links to all the land managers for each of the areas just for that. Uh, and the some of the regulations can get weird at times, but maybe I'm a big rule follower, but I think they're all there for a reason, whether I understand it or not. A lot of we're making a whole lot more people, but except for several small chunk islands in the South Pacific, we're not making new land. So I think we need some of these rules, so that everybody can enjoy, as opposed to just a few user groups. So I kind of like the rules. It makes me kind of an outlier in some places.
So certain places, like you mentioned, the Bob, like that would be on the more restrictive side, right? You really are.
Um, there certainly are restrictions, but I wouldn't call that one of the more restrictive by any means. Um,
Okay.
the heartbeat rule for the Bob is much larger than some other areas. So that's the number of stock that you can take. Weed free is a requirement there, as is most places here on the West Coast, to keep invasive species out. So I don't know that I call it any more restrictive than others. Um, if anything, I think, with the exception of the weed free feed requirements, I'd say it's pretty whatever you want to do. Just don't screw things up for others.
So are you a stay on the trail guy, or are you, if permissible, cool with bushwhacking and cross country stuff and make your own way?
If it's clear enough that I can make my way through, I like finding those little spots that fewer people go to. So yeah, I like going cross country. You got to find the really good fishing holes if you do that.
So do you have any stories that you would share with us? I have here specifically a worst happening out on the trail. So like you said, problems will occur, things will happen. Do you have a horror story that you'd like to share with us, or not so much?
The um, trip to the Bob ended with a helicopter ride. That wasn't pleasant.
That was for you or for someone in your group?
No, for me.
So is this the Ruger
Yeah,
story?
yeah.
Okay, well, would you mind
No,
telling it,
not at all. Hopefully, it
or
keeps somebody
what
else
part
from
you
making the
remember?
same mistake. Yeah, I was pulling a string in Montana, and it was July 2nd, so it was still quite early for the high country. And had a new little mule in tow, Coco, my 13-2, and the river was high. Got a mule's length in. Saw that my new mule would have had to swim, which I thought would have been traumatic for her. It was her first big trip, and so instead of just dropping the string, I mean, the girls aren't going to go anyplace. They're not going to go in the water if they don't have to. They're smarter than us in that regard. Instead of dropping the string, going straight across on Ruger, turning around on dry land, and then coming back, I thought that I could just do a nice arc, turn to upstream as opposed to down, and he slipped on a rock, and for about 100 meters downstream, I was red fur, river bottom, air, red fur, river bottom, air, as we did the wash cycle. I know what our clothes feel like in the washer now.
Hmm.
Uh, Swam out, and my ankle was oddly floppy.
Hmm.
So
Man.
wound up getting the helicopter ride.
So were you alone for that?
No, no.
Okay.
I very, very rarely go alone. Actually, I can't remember the last time I went on horseback alone. I usually try to take somebody with me,
Okay.
just in
Are y'all
case
carrying?
things like that.
Yeah, that's. Are y'all carrying like a sat phone or something, or how do you handle safety
Um,
stuff like
have a
that?
whole clinic on that. There's any number of communication devices now, so I don't carry a sat phone, but a satellite communicator, yes, definitely.
So I guess since we have breached the more serious side of this, let's talk about land nav because I know that you talk
That's my
about
happy
that
place.
as a Marine. Definitely, you have done some of that, and I'm gonna say here that it's a confirmed grumpy old man thing. I think GPS is kind of ruining the world. It's nice to have, but do you advise that people head off into the wilds dependent upon batteries and electronics, or are you there better be a paper map and a compass somewhere around me kind of a guy?
Well, far be it from me to say anything about somebody else's decisions, but for me, I always have that paper map and a traditional compass, in addition to a GPS. I mean, I'm all about ease of use, but if you're going to trust your trip, let alone your life, to plastic and silicone, well, um, best of luck.
Hmm. And I would say, I mean, it's great, but I've definitely had GPS lead me to a locked gate, saying I was at NASA or something like that, and I was in fact 3 miles from where I was supposed to be or something. So it's not always exactly what you
Exactly.
want
It
it to
is
be.
not
So
infallible by any stretch of the imagination. But as a great adjunct to paper map and compass, it's great, but not a replacement for.
so do you think that paper map and compass and just people generally knowing north is a lost skill these days? Do you find that
Unfortunately, yes. And but maps are, for whatever reason, we've decided that maps like knots and rope work is too hard. And I've taken, in my clinics, that it is not too hard and we can do it. It's a cinch. Just take some practice and some trying.
I really hate that the GPS is now like the phone or the in-car ones, at least the ones that I have used. They rotate the damn map depending on direction of car, which my brain doesn't. My brain sees a map and north is always north and it's always pointing this way. And when you take that and rotate it, I'm like, why did you do that? Like, that's not, that messes me up. That really irritates me. The default should be that north is always north and it points this way. And then we rotate everything else around the heading rather than here's the way, you're the center of the universe. And so we'll orient the map around the direction you're pointing rather than north being north and so forth. So I've needed to get that off my chest for a long time. So
And I am glad that you had the opportunity to do so. Although I would respectfully argue, I think that's a setting in the menu.
but the default is that it's that it
Oh no,
changes it around.
I agree. The
So
default is that. Yes. I like
so I
that because it tells me what the next road intersection is going to be without me having to think at all.
no, I don't. I like the road intersection part of it. I just don't like that it like
Gotcha.
north. The compass rose points a certain way, and it always points a certain way. It doesn't rotate around because I turned right. You know what I mean? So anyway, I need to go through my settings and change all of that stuff. But I'm usually April does that. She's the navigator, and so she sets that up,
Oh.
and then she's giving me directions, and I'm like, let me just glance at the map, and I look at it, and like that damn thing is rotated. That's not where north is, and ah, it boils my blood every time. Um, so anyway, uh so do you have a standout favorite trip or a trip you repeat, like you will go to this lake on the Bob every year until you die, like that's your happy place or something, or
Not every year. It's been 2 years since I've been there, but one place I do like going as frequently as possible is a place called Haney Meadow. And it's not wilderness. It's not capital W wilderness, but it has that feel to it. But you can drive there. It takes almost well over an hour to go the 12 miles into the horse camp. So the road is sketchy at best of times, but it is a Forest Service road. But a fire went through a few years back, and so I like going and watching the regrowth as the forest slowly returns. It'll never be back to what it was, at least in my lifetime. But to watch it go from dark forest to burn to baby trees and watching them grow has just been fascinating, and I've really enjoyed that watching it come back after a fire. So
Hmm.
so yeah, Haney Meadow. The road sucks.
That might be a good thing, right? Keeps most people out of there.
I like
That's
to
your
think it
gate.
keeps the riffraff out.
So that's one of those differences in our part of the world. We get a lot of rain where I am, and so fires are a relatively rare thing. A few years ago, we had a bad drought, and we had a really bad fire in western Louisiana that lasted, I think, about 6 weeks. And in my lifetime, I think that's definitely the worst fire we've ever had around here. Where other, your part of the world, you have fire season where it's just
Right.
expected and those kinds of things happen. So, um, that's a pretty foreign concept to me. But
It's the price we pay for not having humidity.
yeah, that might be a price that's absolutely worth it. uh, well, do you have any other books planned? What is the future looking like for you? I know you're doing some clinics and things coming up, so why don't you tell
Yep.
us a little bit about that?
So have the cookbook working on over the past few since Kansas. Really pivoted. I'm doing some trailering clinics, safe trailering, and in putting the handouts together for that, you know, um, so really pivoted toward working pretty much full time on the trailering book, and safe trailering and things that I think we should know as horse people, about trailering as opposed to just hoping that all is good. So
Hmm.
I've been working a whole lot on that and very excited. I actually have an illustrator. So hopefully no more of the nasty grams about great information, but your pictures were taken with a bad photocopier.
That should you should make that a T-shirt, like on the back, 1-star Yelp review or something like that with that comment. That would be perfect. It's I always say the hardest thing about being a clinician is good audio. And it's just an illustration of the left hand turns of things you never thought you would have to worry about and
Oh
consider,
yeah.
and all of a sudden it's the bane of your existence.
Yep.
Um, Illustrations are kind of that way too. Uh, but I hate the computer generated stuff. I actually prefer to hand draw my stuff, even though it looks like a 7-year-old did it. It's
Exactly. It adds
way
warmth.
less. Yeah, it's genuine, right?
Right.
So
Although I
like,
did take a picture for Christmas for social media, like a favorite picture, me riding Coco. And I told the I told ChatGPT to turn this into a Christmas setting with snow and Christmas lights on the trees. And it was pretty darn nifty.
hmm.
Creepy, but nifty.
So there's a good question. So I know you mostly ride Ruger. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your horses, and do they all ride, or do you have any mules that
Yes, I
just
don't.
pack? Or
I my herd is down to two at the moment. Hopefully, we'll be adding to them as the year goes on. But yeah, I don't have room for unitaskers. So if you can't ride and you can't pack, I don't really have room for you. So, but yeah, everybody I have rides and packs. That's my rule for me. They have to be able to competently do all because I have high dreams of bringing my nieces and nephews out and putting them on my critters. Um, but Coco, the bean, COCOA, as opposed to COCO, the Nazi sympathizer. Um, so yeah, she rides and packs, uh, and she is my most workmanlike critter. Like her a heck of a lot more than riding Ruger. She's an Icelandic mule, and she's got the tolt. And she's smooth. Her walk is smooth. And she's just very, like I said, workmanlike. It's just that she's so short, you go through a puddle and your feet get wet. So she gets packed more than anything. And Ruger's just too tall to put boxes on.
So what is Ruger? What sort of mule is Ruger?
Red and annoying.
Red and annoying. Okay.
Yep.
Did you
Yep.
name him? Are you a gun guy too?
No, got him from a guy down in Arizona. He came with Ruger. He comes to Ruger, so who am I to change his name? Although a lot of times he does respond anymore to "Hey shithead." So
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, all my dogs respond to "Come here, damn it." Every single dog I've ever owned absolutely will come to that. So do you ever pack a gun in the backcountry, or you mentioned
all
bears and mountain lions
always,
and stuff? Yeah.
and it's
Have
not
you
for the
had?
bears or the lions. It's to put a horse down if I had to.
That's yeah,
So
sad, but
yeah, bears, lions. That's why I carry bear spray. Uh, yeah,
have you had any encounters that were made you
no,
change your pants, or not? Not so much.
no, never. Bees, yes. Apex predators, never. And if you look at just the numbers, actuarial tables, we are we are more likely to win the lotto than or get struck by lightning than we are to have a bad bear encounter. That's just the numbers. They get publicized when they do happen, but the chances are so incredibly small if we keep a clean camp and take proper precautions. To see one of those critters is truly a gift, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so rare that it rarely happens.
Yeah. We have a growing population of what they call the Louisiana black bear, which they treated as endangered for a long, long time. And now we actually have, just in the last few years, there's a lottery for a huntable tag
Yeah,
and everything. There's not very many of them, but I always thought it was odd because black bears are in no way endangered. They're just rare where we live,
right.
but in other places, there's tons of them and everything.
Yeah, but yeah, don't really worry about. Well, that's also one of the reasons why I don't like going to established campgrounds because the bears have learned that humans are slobs and it's an easy meal. And that's not
There's
the
food
bears'
everywhere.
fault. They're just smart for finding food. you know?
What is it that the park rangers say? There's a considerable overlap in the trash cans that they use between the dumbest humans and the smartest bears.
Yes. Yes. They could invent a better trash can, but then the humans couldn't operate it.
I don't know that I've got much more for you, Robert. We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah, this
and
has
you
been
have
fun.
you have expedited answers pretty well. Is there anything else that you wish I had asked you about that I have not known to ask you about?
Um, I'll think of something in 10 minutes. But for right now, this was a hoot. I had a good time. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for having me on.
Oh, it's my
Um,
pleasure.
it was a nice BS session. I truly enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Well, you were one of those people. I really enjoyed hanging out with you at Equifest. You're a smart and quirky kind of guy in all the right ways, and so I appreciated breaking bread with you and getting to know you a little bit. And I mean, people think of horse shows and all of that, but the reality is the vast majority, like 60-70% of the people that own horses are trail riding. And
Exactly.
so that is what most of them are doing, and not enough people are talking about it and kind of sharing some of the tips, because we've all seen it done poorly. And so people need resources to learn some of this stuff, not the hard way. So
Exactly. Let somebody else, bleed so you don't have to.
we will have, of course, in the show notes, a link to Robert's website. And then I know you have a Facebook page as well.
Yep. Trailmeister.
Okay. I'm not sure I found any other social media for you. Is that pretty much the two
Those are the
places?
two. I don't understand the TikTok thing, but was told I needed to, and I don't have time for the Instagram. So I need people. But yeah, so it's pretty much the website and Facebook at this point. So
Okay.
yeah, give us a visit.
Well, and do you have any other? I know you got some clinics coming up in Colorado, but do you have any other events that you're going to be at later on this year or anything?
Yeah, so Colorado, just over a month in March, the Trailer Clinic, Backcountry Horsemen of Washington Rendezvous, Backcountry Horsemen of Oregon Rendezvous, who are doing another trailer clinic and a cinch clinic in camp. The Oregon Rendezvous is a hoot because it's actually at the Sisters Horse Camp in the forest. So dispersed camping, and it's all about learning how to camp with livestock. And so that'll be there. And then the Western States Horse Expo in Sacramento. Um, and then a cinch clinic at a dude ranch here in Washington. And that's all I can remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
But a fair few. The website has a clinic list where you can look and see where and when and get registration information.
Well, I certainly hope our paths cross at an expo or something down the road.
Me
But
too.
if not, I'm going to try to. I definitely. I want to go into the backcountry with you at some point if I can find a week off or something, and just invite myself along.
Well, I'm thinking somebody needs to throw in a word for me for Ty's Clinic, and we can have beverages and coffee at Ty's Clinic.
I think I know somebody that will be at Ty Evans Mule Days in July 13th through 17th, I believe, in Utah. So I'm going to send a text as soon as we get done with this, and who knows, maybe we'll see you there.
Shameless self-promotion.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Chris Clark will be there as well with his Highlines.
Okay, this is the pulley guy.
The pulley guy.
Okay.
Yes, he'll be there so we can talk Highlines. And if you have Chris on, which I really think you need to have Chris on your show if you haven't already, he is just the berries and a hoot. But you'll have to ask him about why you should use a basket hitch instead of a box hitch and just watch his ears turn red and the veins pop out on his forehead.
Okay. That sounds
But yeah,
good.
well, I'm sure we will see each other around.
Absolutely. Well, Robert, thank you for your time today. It's been a trip getting to talk with you again and everything. And thanks for coming on the podcast and giving us your time today.
It was a joy. Take care. Thanks so much.
We'll see you next week for another episode of Adult Onset Horsemanship. I've been your host, Daniel Dolphin.